Hi everyone, this is Lisa Bell, the Chief Editor of Word Magazine, and I'd like to welcome you to another inspiring episode where we celebrate voices that shape culture, leadership, and legacy across Africa and beyond. Today I have the incredible honor of sharing a very special conversation with none other than Yvonne Chaka Chaka, legendary South African singer, humanitarian, and fearless advocate for change. I had the privilege of sitting down with Yvonne in her Johannesburg home, where we spoke candidly about her journey through music, motherhood, activism, and the enduring power of purpose. This isn't just an interview. It's a moment of reflection, passion, and wisdom from one of our continent's most iconic voices. Let's dive into the story behind the woman we've all grown up listening to and continue to admire. Yvonne, thank you so much for taking this interview with Word Magazine. I'm so excited to interview you. So this year marks 40 years in the music industry and your 60th birthday. That is amazing. Congratulations. When you look back at your journey, what emotions come to mind for you?
Thank you very much for having me. It is quite nostalgic to think I'm going to be 60. Ooh, I feel like a dinosaur. But 40 years in the music, or in the creative industry, for me, I look back and I think I never thought it could have happened. I'm just grateful to God for my life, grateful to those people who've given me the platform to be able to perform for them, the people who've given me the ear, to listen to me when I do public speaking, the people who've given me the nod, to say, yes, you are welcome to come to our house without us inviting you. The people who said, yeah, we will come to the stadium and fill up those seats. I'm just so grateful to the opportunity given to me. It hasn't been a very easy 40 years, but I look back and I think I did it my way.
There's a song like that. Are you going to sing? No, we're not going to. So take us back to those early days. How did the music career actually begin? Give me, how old were you? What happened that actually got you into this?
I completed my matric when I was 18. I was going to be 19. And I was supposed to go to university to study law. That's what my mother wanted me to study. I think she was a very ambitious woman because she was a domestic worker. She didn't have the money to take me to university, but she said, you must find a way to go to university. And I must say, my mother was ahead of her time. As much as she had very little education, but she was amazing. When you're a young girl, you think, when I grow up, I want to get married and have my husband buying me a house, buying me a car. My mother discouraged us, all three of us. I come from a family of 3 girls. I'm the last one in the family. And my mother instilled the sense of pride as a woman, and wanting to do things for yourself. I think independence. And every time, you say to her, when I grow up, I want to get married. My husband's going to buy me this, and said, that husband of yours, doesn't he have family? Or doesn't he have things to do with his money? And I would think, what is this woman talking about? But as a matter of fact, fast forward, I just think she instilled the sense of empowerment in me, wanting to empower myself and not depend on anybody. And so when I couldn't go and study law as she wanted, I found myself in Johannesburg looking for a scholarship or for a job, really. I mean, as a young girl, you just go to town and hope for the best. But this particular day, I was going to the race relations because my elder sister had received a scholarship to study teaching. So I'd been to the race relations a couple of times, and it was just always full because I think that was the only place where us Black people would flock to get a bursary. It was a Friday afternoon, and I decided it's too full here, and I just walked. I found myself at the SABC on Commissioner Street. And whilst I was there, a guy called Louis Chopin came with tapes, Magino, Kim Kelly, and he recognized the lady who was paired with me and said, oh, by the way, you know, I work for the record company. So they knew each other.
Yeah.
So they started chatting, and he invited her to come with to his record company. She invites me to come with. And I'm looking at my time. I'm thinking, I have to go back to the race relations just to go and peep and see if, you know, because I have to go back and report to my mom.
Mm-hmm.
So the lady invites me. So we end up at Devon Records. So I get to Devon Records. I'm looking at the lady at the reception. I'm looking at the walls. I see all these superstars. Kim Kelly, Pet Shange, all these musicians that we listen to on the radio. Yeah. And I asked the lady at the reception, is this a record company? And so, you know, with this cocky smile, she laughs. She says, I said, do you see all these people here? And she says, yeah. And I'm like, oh, you know, she's like nonchalant. And cut the long story short, the white man emerged, and Louis says, I know that I brought the two ladies with me, you know, I took them from the SAPC, but don't mind the other one. And that's me.
Yeah.
The other one, I think they went to church together, but they knew each other. So the lady gets invited to go into the boardroom. I don't know what happened, but I was very interested to chat to this lady, you know, at the reception.
Yeah.
And anyway, I said to her, I have to leave, you know. Tell the lady I'll see her some other time. So as I'm standing up, the white man comes with the lady and he says, hey, young lady, do you want to come and try your luck? So I'm looking at him, try my luck. And you've been sitting in that boardroom. I didn't even know what a boardroom was for a long time. And I'm left at the reception. And now you want me to try my luck. So he says to the lady, you can sit here, you come. So I went into the boardroom. So I'm just fascinated, you know, looking at the gold disc, seeing all sorts of things. And he played the song. And he asked me if I liked the song. And I said, well, I'm hearing it for the first time. Whose song is it? He said, it could be yours. And I'm thinking, this guy's a chancer, you know. I mean, could be mine. How? Anyway, he says to me, sing. I said, no, I don't want to sing. He said, just sing anything. I said, no, why? He said, maybe I can make you a superstar. I said, you know, singing is not my thing. I want to be a lawyer, but I want to be a chartered accountant. My mother wants me to be a lawyer, so I don't think I'm at the right place. But I burst into a song, you know, and I went.
Any song, or were you singing?
No, I just went, when I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And the guy just said, I found my girl. Just like that. He said, I found my girl. He went into his back pocket, gave me 4 purple 5 rands. That was $20.
Yeah.
He pulled out the tape. He said, you go and listen to the song. And he took the words. It's raining in the city. I've got nowhere to go. I'm in love with the DJ. And said, go and learn the song. Come back on Monday. Now I'm getting out of this room with money, a tape, and a paper. And I'm walking through the passage and I'm asking the lady, did the boss give you the paper and the tape? She says, no. I said, he gave me this paper and he gave me the money and he says I must come back on Monday. And now the lady gets very upset. She pulls me. I'm like, yay, pass up. Yay. Don't touch me. But now I did not know what to do at the time, you know. So now she's fighting for the paper. She's fighting for the money. And I'm like, I'll see you on Monday. She says, I wasn't asked to come on Monday. I said, well, I'm sorry. I was asked to come on Monday. Anyway, over the weekend, I'm reading the song. I have to learn it and know it by heart. I don't even know where to sing, but I know now it's raining in the city. I've got nowhere to go. I have no one to talk to except the voice on the radio. And on Monday, I come back, and the guy said, do you know the song? I said, yes, I can recite it. And he took me to the studio. I met Artie van Wyk, who had written the song, and Herbert Kludu, and I recorded I'm in Love with the DJ, which became my debut album, and the rest is history 40 years later.
Why do you think he gave you that chance?
I always think we have a plan. People have plans. You plan to do something, as I was so determined that I'll get that scholarship and I'll go and study law because that's what my mother wanted me to do. But when I finish, I wanted to study accounting because I wanted to be a chartered accountant. But I think we plan things, but God has our destiny and He knows. I think I was at the right time, at the right place, and I just got given a chance, which was for me, opened the doors, and it's something that was so unimaginable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then where to from there?
Well, from I'm in love with the DJ, walking in the streets, people recognizing me, hearing myself on the radio, I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. I was 90. I was going to be 20. Signing a contract in South Africa during those times, you had to be 21.
Okay.
Now, I had to convince my mother, who was very unhappy, did not even know I was recording. I did this without her knowing. I told my sisters, I'm recording, and they looked at me. They said, you've always been, you've always, tried to do funny things, Yvonne, and I showed them the tape with the music, and I said, it's me singing there. And they said, Yvonne, it sounds like you, but it's not you. And I said, yes, it is me. They said, but when did you do all these things? I said, every time I went to town, this is what I was doing.
Yeah.
And so we had to convince my mother to say, it looks like this is going to be the right thing for Yvonne to do. She was not impressed. She was not happy. It took her a long time to sign that contract, even though Phil Hollis came and gave us 10,000 rands cash as an advance for me to sign the contract. My mother was not faced. But my two sisters, convinced my mother, and I promised her that I will go to school. I will not be the chamors that everybody perceived people who were singing as, because music, the creative industry was never given the respect it deserves. If you're a writer, you're just a writer, and what else? If you're an actress, you're just an actress. If you're a model, you're a model. If you're a singer, and so what? And I promised my mother that I will, acquire the knowledge. I will be empowered. I will learn, and I will be skilled enough to be able to take care of myself, because nobody thought music was a career.
Yeah.
And from I'm in love with the DJ to Thank You, Mr. DJ, to I'm Burning Up, to Motherland, to Mkomboti, and just me started traveling. By 1987, I traveled to America for the very first time.
Famous people as well.
Pardon?
With some famous people.
Well, I traveled because I'd never traveled before. Gallo Records, which was our record company, they had a lady who chaperoned me, who went with me, because I'd never traveled anywhere before.
Yeah.
And so Sharon from Black came with me. It was amazing. So we went to New York, went to LA, went to Washington, and that's where I met Whitney Houston for the very first time, performing, thanks to Jonathan Butler. Because I saw the ads, and Jonathan Butler was performing with Whitney.
Yes.
And Washington is not that big. I went to look for him. And eventually, I went to the hotel where he stayed. I didn't find him. I left a message. I said, I'm Yvonne Chaka Chaka, and I want to come to the show. And I went back to the hotel. He had slipped a couple of tickets for me.
Oh, wow.
And it was just so amazing. I have so much to thank.
Yes.
And and 40 years later, it's like a dream. It's unbelievable. But for me, I don't take anything for granted. If I have to tell a 13-year-old Yvonne who is ambitious, I would say, it's okay with all the mistakes that you've done. Take the same route. I don't regret anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was one of my questions. What would you tell your younger self? There you go. Are there people that have been particularly really big influences in your life across this journey, and who are they?
My mother played a very, very pivotal role in my life. I've got two sisters, and working as a domestic worker, at that time, I didn't think she was loving.
Okay.
She was very strict, So my two sisters and I used to call her that person. We never called her by her name. Because my mother would tell you, cut-off time to come back home is 5 o'clock, whether it's summer or winter. Whether you'd gone to school or you've gone to do extra classes or whatever, she did not care. It was 5 o'clock at home. And because our father died when I was 11 years old, she was a single woman. So I was brought up by a single woman. And my dad's friends would want to come, and visit and say, we've come to see the girls. And I remember, some of these guys, and as a young girl, you don't think there's anything wrong. But my mother was just so strict, and she hated this. And, when they would come, they would touch your boobs, and you didn't think it was wrong. They were like, oh, are the boobs hard now? Are you girls growing? And they touch your bum, and you think it's okay.
Yeah.
And they literally give you 5 rands, and my mother hated that. But we thought it was okay. And as an adult now, I look back and I think this woman protected us and guarded us. We didn't understand as young people.
Yeah.
So as I grew, I fully understand why my mother did what she did. She did not want to prostitute us. She wanted to be there for us. She could have said, girls, there's 4 women here. Go and fend for yourselves. But she never did. And I love her to bits. As much as we thought she was hard and not too empathetic or kind, we thought she was just a bully. But I look back and I think she did it her way to bring us up with pride and with less abuse, because we could have been abused.
Yeah.
And she didn't.
Yeah.
She was there to guard us and protect us. And that's why she was very strict. And I want to say to her, thank you, because I'm this woman, because of your teachings, of your hardness, because she was hard. And I appreciate it now. And I'm grateful. Yeah.
That's wonderful. And who else besides your mother?
Well, there were so many women, really. There was a lady who stayed across our house, Memaratebe. She was the pastor's wife at AME Church. I think the woman, I really think sometimes God puts his people in the right place. We didn't go to her church. It was just across the road from us. I went to the International Pentecostal Church as a young girl, but this was an AME church. But the lady will stand by her gate and collect us and get us, the kids from the streets, from the neighborhood, bring us, in her vicinity, teach us to play piano, teach us to read, encouraged us to do good things, which was like unheard of in the township, and she would say, if there's boys and girls, okay, start debating teams. Which books did you read, Yvonne? As a matter of fact, every once a week when we went to Maratebe's place, you wanted to say, I want to have read 5 books better than Lisa. I want, and it was like pride for you. And I don't know what happened to Memaratebe, but she was quite old at that time. May her soul rest in peace if she did. But she gave me the sense of wanting to expand my horizon and saying to myself, living in the township doesn't make you any different, but you can strive to be a better person. And I'm so grateful to that lady today. And our teachers, I mean, we looked up to our teachers. They had a lot of impact in us because, you aspired to be a teacher. You aspired to be standing on that blackboard. There was a lady, I still don't know her name. She stayed a street away from home. Every 5 o'clock, we would literally go and peep by the window because she would wear her white dress and her cape. She was a nurse. And she would wear, I don't know, whatever you called it there. And she walked with pride, and we adored her. I just wanted to be like her. We didn't know her name. We called her Sis Ness, means Sister Ness, because that's what she was. And these are the people really who really inspired me in my community. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Thank you for that. All right. So over the last 4 decades, you've made an incredible impact on African music, global music. What do you consider the biggest career highlights for you?
You know, when I started singing in 1985, obviously I didn't even think that in 1987 Yvonne Chaka Chaka would still be existing. I guess that's why I, in the interim, went and studied speech and drama and public speaking. I tried to study law, failed Afrikaans 3 times at 3 different universities. I failed history 1, I failed mercantile law, and I said to my mom, please let it be, you know. And I studied something else. I studied adult education, local government management, and business management, and I just completed my honors in management practices with Henley. I'm supposed to be busy with my MBA now, but I don't know. Academic writing is something else. But for me, it was, I must say, I was very lucky. Because from I'm in love with the DJ to thank you, Mr. DJ, I guess DJs loved me. And it was imperative for them to play my songs because nobody was thanking them. Nobody was appreciating them. But these were the songs which were written for me by Artie van Wyk, Phil Hollis, Isa, Herbert Kulu, and Chico. So it was one song after the other, and that kept me going. And 1986, I think my first trip was to Lesotho. I'd never traveled anywhere, you know, and I traveled to Botswana. And by 1987, my first trip on the aircraft, I went to Zimbabwe. So my popularity, you know, gained a lot of traction in the rest of Africa. I don't know how. I think it was just God's plan, I must say, because we only had radio, television, and we did have television
Live as well, hey?
live performances, yes. But I mean, I'm talking about mediums of showcasing. One, it was just radio and magazines and newspapers. There was no social media where people can talk to each other worldwide now, you know. But I think the people out there leaned towards South Africans because of apartheid, you know, and they were empathizing with us and the music that we were singing at that time. Then I traveled to places like Kenya, you know, places like Tanzania, Ivory Coast, Ethiopia, and then started performing in places like Paris, London, Germany, and I think it was becoming, you know, okay to say this is the career that I want to take. And I think my mother had said it's okay with it, you know, because she could see that I was working, I was making money, and I was taking this as a job. Yeah.
Yeah, taking it seriously.
Yeah.
Now, the entertainment industry has changed significantly since you started. How are you adapting your music or even how you do things?
You know, music evolves, and rightfully so. Things have changed. The whole creative industry has really changed. There are influencers, there's new young people, rightfully so. When we came, we looked up to, and I still do, you know, looked up to people like Mary Makeba, Abigail Kubeka, you know, Leta Mbulu, and all those great artists which we had in South Africa. And really, I have them to thank for paving the way for us. Because if it wasn't for them, really, we would not be here. So music had to change, and rightfully so. there's different avenues where young people can plug in their music and it's out there. But I constantly say there are people who really abuse our art, you know, free downloads and things like that. I don't subscribe to that because somebody went into the studio, somebody paid the producers, somebody paid for the time in the studio.
Exactly.
And it's not right that the music or anything, even if it's a book, when it's downloaded, it should not be downloaded for free because this is somebody's intellectual property. So that needs to be respected. But things have really changed, but they've changed for the better. So what we need to do now is to educate the young people. It's to get the powers that be, you know, policymakers, to level the playing field and make sure that people are not taken for granted, but they are being paid rightfully for their art.
Their value. Yeah. Okay. Are we going to see you on TikTok soon?
I don't have a TikTok account.
Come now, Yvonne.
I don't even know what happens on TikTok. I have no idea.
I'm only joking. You have been deeply involved in philanthropy, advocacy, and you've got your own foundation. Tell me a little bit more about that. How did that start? Why did it start? And where is it going?
You know, I guess when I started singing by 1987, 86, I'd adopted lots of kids, you know, paid for their fees, paid for their groceries. And I think at that time, we were not aware that these kids, their parents died of HIV. There's a place called Orlando Children's Home, which still exists today. Thank you to the founders and the people who still see it important to fund that place. So we will get those kids to come here at home. Just give them a sense of belonging, you know, to be out of a home and come to a home, you know, a house, and where they would feel comfortable. And so, because I knew where I come from, my mother's madam gave us a home when the white government had taken the home from my mother as a single black woman. So when I got this chance and I was able to fend for myself and thought I have enough to share with others, I did just that. But obviously you do that in a very, you know, small scale. You get 4 children, 5 children, you bring them here, buy them food, you make them feel comfortable as well. And I always say to people, you know, when you help people, you don't want to make them feel helped. You know, you want them to be okay with it, and you are okay with it. You don't do it to show somebody else.
No.
You know, so when I mean, I would go to Zimbabwe and perform. Obviously, it will be full, but my heart will say to me, "You've come to Zimbabwe, you've come to Tanzania. Are you just a taker?" So I would ask, you know, what is needed? So there's a place called Chirinyazo in Zimbabwe, and I would go and donate something. Even when I went to perform, whether it's Tanzania or Uganda or Kenya, I just wanted to learn about, I've performed, I've been paid, but what am I giving? What do you leave behind?
You know, your legacy,
You know?
as well.
Well, yeah, whether it's legacy or what, I just think sometimes we take things for granted. You think it's my right, or it's mine, you know, I have to get it. But I then say to myself, if those people are not giving you that chance to do what you want to do, what would you be? So in Zulu, we always say, umuntu, umuntu ngabantu. I am because you are. So once you begin to know and to think that you are just not the only one, but you live as a collective, you know. And, you know, my mother always said, we're born, you must know, Yvonne, you're born with nothing and you die with nothing. So I don't hold on to things a lot. When I have, I'd say I give. And you don't want to give something from an empty cup as well. You want your cup to fill up, and once it overflows, you have to then share with others. And that's what I've always done. So my philanthropy work had started really long ago, just by doing small things out there, helping where I can. When I go and perform, go and find children's homes or girls' homes, and just say, okay, I'll leave $1,000, $5,000, or whatever amount. But things really changed in 2004. It was at 2004 to South Africa's 10th anniversary, and we'd traveled to Gabon to perform. It was an amazing concert. I mean, it was like a jamboree. We traveled. I even got into the train because we had to travel from one town to another, and it was just so beautifully done. But coming back, one of my artists had contracted malaria, Pumzile, and unfortunately she died. That was a turning point for me because I had no idea what malaria was. But Pumzile's passing made me want to learn more about malaria. And my husband, being a doctor, thought I was going to go mad because I was Googling everything. What is malaria? What causes malaria? Is it curable? Is it preventable? And when I learned that it was killing so many people, particularly children under 2, children under 5, pregnant women, and I thought, this is a killer disease and nobody talks about it. But for me, it was a worry. I wanted to do something, but I thought to myself, I'm just a nobody. How am I going to change things? Little did I know that God had something waiting for me. In 2005, I got an invitation from UNICEF. They wanted this Yvonne Chaka Chaka to be a goodwill ambassador, which I didn't know what it was. I had no clue. I thought, okay, now you want me to stop singing and be a goodwill ambassador? But then I went to Ethiopia and I met all the UNICEF guys, and they were telling me, would like you to be a goodwill ambassador. And I thought, are you going to pay me? Goodwill. Oh, okay. So I told them the story of Pumzile, and I became the first UN Goodwill Ambassador to choose a cause. I became this UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador for malaria, and I started traveling, going to the UN, having meetings, and just sitting in those meetings. I used to pinch myself, sitting in meetings with Bill Gates and Admiral Zimmer, going to the White House for the very first time in 2006 for the Presidential Malaria Initiative. And Rollback Malaria asked me to be their global goodwill ambassador with Princess Astrid and Yusundu. So that really for me has given me a platform to be able to engage with people worldwide. And I'm very grateful because I've met very important people. But for me, it was also going back to the ordinary people who had no access to medication, had no access to long-lasting nets, had no access to things that they needed to be alive. And so that was very easy for me because half of those people looked like me. I was a mother. I was a woman. I could go to any place, whether really it was, I remember other places you go with these UN people and it's like hearts, small hearts, and you have to bend like that. And for me, I didn't mind. These were my people. And these are the people who made me what I am. And so it was very easy for me to go there to say to them, please do take your prophylaxis. Please allow people to come and do indoor residual spraying because people don't trust anybody. If you come here and spray my house, are you coming to kill me or what? So you make it very simple for them to say, we're coming to kill the mosquitoes and the larvas that are growing there. We're not coming to kill you. And I'm just so grateful to have been given that chance to be able to help save, even if it was one life.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you for that. That's amazing. Alrighty. So this year, 40 years in the industry, turning 60, you must have some plans. Are you allowed to let us know what's coming up? What can we expect from you?
Well, I have always looked forward to 2025.
Okay.
2025 is right here now,
Yeah.
because I knew in 2025 I will turn 60, and it would be my 40th anniversary in the creative industry. I'm over the moon, I must say. So we embarking on a project called 60/40.
Okay.
So 60/40 is my 60th birthday, and 40 is the 40th anniversary, and 60 plus 40 is 100.
Yes.
So I'm so grateful to ShopRite Checkers that is giving me 100 food parcels to give to the community. I spoke to different people, and when just one phone call, they said, no explanation, Yvonne, we'll give you.
Amazing.
And I'm just so grateful to them, because they saw my vision. They saw what I wanted to do, because for me, it's going back to where I come from. Thank those people who'd given me the platform and the chance. They could have chosen any other person to love.
The other lady.
And to listen to,
Yeah.
But I'm going back to my community. So on the 18th, on my birthday, I'll have 20 significant women.
18th of which month?
March.
Okay, literally around the corner.
20 significant women who matter to me, and just have lunch with them.
Nice.
And on the 19th and the 20th, I'll be going with the ShopRite Checkers with for me, they just said, this is exactly what we would love to do, because we have this 60 minutes. It's 60 minutes and you're 60.
Yes.
So we will go and do that. So I'm so grateful to them, because they saw what I wanted to do and they bought into it, and they are supporting me by doing that. So I'm not taking it for granted. I'm just taking it with all my hands and just going to those communities. I know I don't want to cause chaos or confusion, and you can't be everything to everybody. But just that number 100, it's just significant, because it's 60 and 40, it makes 100.
I love it.
So that's what I'm doing in 2025, celebrating all year round.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing that all fold out. How can we, the public, get involved with your foundation, with all that you're doing? How does the man on the street contribute to that?
Well, I've asked people for my 60th birthday. There's a lady called Louisa Magella. I'm grateful. She just said, we have these women and I will pick up the bill. I'll do everything. So on the 6th of April, I'm getting women who performed in the 80s with me, like PJ Powers.
Oh, wow.
Mercy Pagela, Cheek to Cheek, to come and celebrate with me. I want to say to them, I appreciate you. We were there in the struggle together. We performed together. So come celebrate with me. I've always been this person who wanted to do things, with others, not just for me. So I'm getting these ladies, including a couple of young ones, to come and perform one of my songs.
Great.
And I'm asking all the 200 people who will be invited to bring a pair of shoes.
Okay.
So that we could go and give them to needy children out there. I don't think I need presents. I don't need any gifts. Those gifts, whoever wanted to buy me anything, just buy one pair of shoes or 2 pairs of shoes, and then we can go and give them to children.
So anyone really can do that. Will you put that out there? So that
well, I'm trying to put that out. Obviously, those who are going to come to the function on the 6th of April, I'm saying we're getting different people sponsoring this. So it's going to be entertainment with PJ, Messi Pagela, myself, and Amanda Black and other young artists. And we're getting different people who are going to pay for the food and everything. So people are not going to be paying. It's not a big concert. It will be sponsored. There'll be food, there'll be drinks, they'll have fun. The little that I can ask from them is that I don't need any present. My presents will be those school shoes, which we will donate to people.
All right.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I'll get some more information from you if we can somehow help that happen, and we'll get more people involved. Then.
I'd love that. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. I'm very grateful.
Yvonne, as a parting tradition in Word Magazine, we always ask our cover and feature, can they recommend either a book, a podcast, a YouTube channel, a speaker, an artist, just someone that we can, or something that we can showcase, or just make a highlight of? Is there any that you would like to recommend in any of those genres?
Well, there's I think, is she a professor? Yeah, Professor Mamokgethi. I'm sure everybody knows her. She's, I think she is on TikTok.
Okay.
But she's just one of those young, dynamic African woman who says, young girl, don't sit here and lick your wounds. Go out there, fend for yourself, get educated. I mean, she's a professor. She's 1 year younger than me, but she's feisty. She's got a good body. She gyms, she eats well, she looks well. And she was one of those people who inspires me. So I think she's got a couple of publications.
Okay.
And so I would like young people to look out for her.
Absolutely. We'll definitely will put that down for everyone to go have a look at.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. It was amazing.
Thank you for having me. And yes, word. Go
down there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening or watching this special episode of Word Magazine. I hope Yvonne's story inspired you as much as it did me. Don't forget to download edition 20 on our website at www.wordmag.co.za, where you'll find powerful contributions from all our regular voices across business, wellness, leadership, culture, and so much more. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to this channel and turn on your notifications so you never miss future recordings and interviews. Until next time, stay inspired, stay curious, and thank you for being part of the Word community.